Hey everyone, Silencium here, welcome. Today we're stepping into the shadow-lit world of Death Note, a modern classic that fused thriller, mystery, and philosophical fable into one relentless thought experiment. The anime adapts the manga by the duo Tsugumi Ohba, writer, and Takeshi Obata, artist, and the TV version was produced by Madhouse under director Tetsuro Araki. In Japan, it aired on NTV from October 2006 to June 2007 before crossing the Pacific to the US, where it ran on Adult Swim from late 2007 into 2008. From the first frame, Death Note asks a chillingly simple question. If you could kill by writing a name, would you? And once you start, where does justice end and tyranny begin? Though often packaged as a single 37-episode run, distributors commonly split the anime into two seasons or halves, each with its own tone. The first half introduces Light Yagami, a top student whose life changes when a death god drops a black notebook into the human world. The premise is crystalline. Write a name, picture the face, and a life ends. With the Shinigami Ryuk hovering like a grinning gargoyle, Light lays out an almost corporate plan for remaking society, one ruled by fear and immaculate record-keeping. He isn't a mustache-twirling villain, he's chilling precisely because he believes he's right. Opposite him stands an anonymous, sugar-fed genius detective known only as L, and their duel becomes the engine of the show. The writing in this stretch is razor-tight. Rules are introduced like chess openings, then subverted. Surveillance face-offs pulse with silence. Even the Yotsuba corporate arc crackles with procedural verve. Madhouse's direction keeps rooms dim and eyes blazing, while the score by Yoshihisa Hirano and Hideki Taniyuchi blends ecclesiastical grandeur with twitchy tension. Positives abound here: airtight pacing, a cat-and-mouse dynamic for the ages, and thematic clarity about power, identity, and the seductions of certainty. Then comes the midpoint, an event surrounding a central, beloved figure that many fans mark as the hinge of the entire series. I won't spell it out, this is a no-spoiler zone, but you'll feel the tremor when it happens. From that moment on, the narrative undergoes a tonal shift. The second half introduces new players who inherit the intellectual battlefield. They are sharp, clever, and purpose-built to test Light in new ways. Yet a common critique is that, compared to the electrifying psychology of the early duel, the later stretch feels more mechanical. The plotting becomes denser, the gambits more baroque, and the emotional stakes, while still high, can seem less intimate. Some adore the broader scope and the way the story interrogates legacy, succession, and the cost of obsession. Others feel the pacing sags, the twists pile up, and the finale polarizes. In short, the back half remains smart and provocative, but for many viewers, the momentum softens after that seismic middle turn. Let's talk craft. Death Note thrives on rules, dozens of them, and the show treats those rules like musical motifs. You don't just watch a thriller, you watch a proof being constructed, step by careful step. This produces exhilarating logic puzzles and delicious reversals. It also creates a potential negative. Long stretches of monologue and exposition, especially later on, can read as explain chess out loud, rather than letting moves speak for themselves. Visually, the character designs are iconic. Sharp suits, stark silhouettes, eyes that cut like glass, and the mise-en-scène leans into austere interiors where a single apple can glow like contraband. Still, animation quality fluctuates in a handful of episodes, and the world outside the primary cast can feel underdrawn. Another fair critique: female characters are often underutilized, orbiting Light's gravity rather than carving their own. Thematically, Death Note is richer than its sensational premise suggests. It weighs utilitarian calculus against human dignity, shows how anonymity corrodes accountability, and asks whether outcomes can justify methods when the method is quite literally murder. Light's evolution, or devolution, is a textbook on moral creep. Small rationalizations harden into identity. Our unnamed detective's counter-philosophy, skeptical, empirical, stubbornly humane, stands as a quiet rebuke. Even the Shinigami serve as a mirror, bored immortals watching mortals play God, a reminder that detachment is not the same as wisdom. If the second half draws mixed responses, it's often because the show's ethical question has already been asked with devastating clarity. Everything afterward is the long echo. A few practical notes for your watch list. The Japanese cast delivers an icy precision, while the English dub is one of the stronger efforts of its era, capturing the cerebral tempo without losing bite. The soundscape is doing more work than you might notice at first. Choral surges for revelation, ticking percussion for plan-within-plan sequences. And yes, those opening themes are impossible to forget. They frame the halves with distinct energies, almost like overtures before two acts of the same tragic play. So, should you watch it if you've somehow missed it? Absolutely, especially the first half, which is about as gripping as televised animation gets. Go in for the duel of minds, stay for the morality play, and decide for yourself whether the late-game complexities enrich the design or dilute the spell. Either way, Death Note has earned its reputation. It's not just a thriller, it's a case study in how power tempts, how genius isolates, and how a single rule, written in a notebook, can rewrite a life. I was Silencium, and if you found this helpful, tap like, drop a comment with your take on the second half, and subscribe for more deep dive anime essays. Thanks for watching, and keep your apples close.